Hello, welcome to today's video. We are now on page 12 of the of the Alfred's All-in-One Book 4. So on page 12, we're learning Lavender's Blue. Let's go ahead and listen to a little bit of what this sounds like. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so as you can hear, it has a lot of legato either in the right hand or in the left hand, and it is using a new interval that we learned in the previous 2 pages of our book. I hope that you completed those activities for learning about the 6th interval. So the 6th interval is, as you can see there on the top of the page, it goes from C to A. And you will also be using fingers 1 and 5. So this is our first experience moving out of C position, of just a 5-finger hand position. But in piano music, we're not always going to be on only a 5-finger hand position. We will stretch larger. This one here is the first example. When you stretch up to A from C, keep the other fingers over the rest of the keys as though you were in still C position, but only move your thumb a little bit and stretch it out in order to reach that A right there. So practice one at a time. C, there, and then A. Notice that big space between 2 and 1, and then play them together. Play it and hold it with your fingers still on top of D, E, and F to get used to and comfortable holding this stretch in this position. The same thing will apply also from the right hand. We have C position there. Play each note individually. Play them together with still your fingers 2, 3, and 4 over the D, E, and F to get used to this position. Okay, and so when we play that, let's go ahead now and talk a little bit about the notes of this music here. So we have here the left hand. It has dotted half notes. Let's go ahead and review the left hand for the first system. We have C and E, harmonic third. 1, 2, 3, lift. 1, 2, 3, lift. And harmonic fourth. 1, 2, 3, lift. And then fourth quarter note. G, F, E, D, legato. Make sure that you're lifting and dropping for legato there. As for the right hand, we're playing C, G, G, fifth, F, E, D, C. Make sure that the legato only applies to those 4 notes. And then we lift, C. Here's the stretch. A, C, and A together. Now, if it's too uncomfortable to keep the fingers over here like this, you can kind of go ahead and just hold the fingers in a neutral or a central position while you're holding both together like that. So they're not exactly over one or the other, but they're just kind of hanging there. And that's perfectly fine if you don't have to do anything with these fingers. Okay? So after having reviewed those 2 hands separately, make sure that you play it either non-legato or legato. Let's put them slowly together. 1, 2, 3. Non-legato. Holding that left hand third while the legato comes down. Lift both hands. And then when you come here, it will be a really good idea when you lift to stretch out and bring finger number 5 already up to A to prepare to play it. So don't just stretch out after playing C. Bring your hand and hold it in that position, preparing for the 6th interval. And then when we play the next system, let's go ahead and play just the left hand first. Third, 2, 3, third, 2, 3. Now notice what I just did there. I was still holding the third in the left hand, but my thumb stretched over to touch A, which means I'm going to prepare to play a sixth here on the next measure. So we come down and 6th, 5th, both with finger number 5, 4th, 3rd, G, F, E, D, and that's the same thing as we did from the previous system. Okay, so always prepare your fingers ahead of time. If your finger is not doing something, you can stretch out to prepare what it's going to play in the future. That's a really good example right there. For the right hand, we have the same thing as usual for the first two measures, just like we did for the first system. C, G, G, 5th, F, E, D, C, lift, F, E, D, C, 2, 3. Make sure you review every single note individually by the hands, and then let's put them slowly together. 1, 2, 3. Notice that I prepared beforehand. We have a repeat sign which brings us back to the beginning. I'll allow you to review that on your own and practice. The last system goes like this. C, rest, 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 G, F, E, D, just like we did before. And then we have piano and staccato and ritardando. My goodness, lots of things going on here. C, 5th, 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 2, 3, fermata, and release. Okay, so that's with the left hand. Review that individually. As for the right hand, we have rest, G, F, E, D, lift, C, rest, 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 third, 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 2, 3, fermata, and release. Alrighty, let's go ahead now, put them together. We're taking turns here, starting with the left hand. Don't forget also, we have a decrescendo going on here. The original dynamic was mezzo forte, and we're bringing ourselves down to piano. 1, 2, 3, C, G, F, E, D, C, G, F, E, D, C. Remember that the ritardando does not come until second to the last measure, starting on beat number 2. I would start it on beat number 2, not on the first beat, because that just brings us to the piano section. Okay, so decrescendo, ritardando, we stay at piano for the remainder of that section. Okay, so this is our demonstration and discussion about Lavender's Blue. Let's go ahead and practice hands separately every day, putting them together very slowly. Make sure that you have the lifts happening where they are supposed to be. It is very easy to connect that C at the end of the 8th note, but don't connect it to the next measure because there is a lift. Make sure that lift is very clear every time you have that figure of F, E, D, C, or G, F, E, D, or for the left hand, which only does G, F, E, D, lift. And you come down together for the end there, and everything should sound nice after the fermata. All right, thanks, and we will see you at next lesson.